So, what are we talking about today?
Shady Acres.
What's it like to live in Shady Acres, and also it's called Greater Heights. So if that's what you're here for, stick around. We're getting after it right now.
All right.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
You want me to do this one? Hey, look, this channel is all about living in Houston, Texas. The good, the bad, the ugly, all the different neighborhoods, all the things that you want to know. So look, if that's what you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. That way you're notified every time we put out a new video. What do we like to do? What's our favorite thing to do?
We love to help people.
We love helping people. So look, when you or anybody you know is getting ready to move here to Houston, go ahead and give us a call. Send us a text message, send us an email. Heck, if you want to, send us a note via
Pony Express.
Yes, Pony Express. Any which way you want to contact us, we've got your back when moving here to Houston. So now let's jump into it. Shady Acres. First question, is it Shady Acres or is it Greater Heights?
So technically it's Shady Acres.
Okay.
If you're searching on the MLS or talking about the general overall area, it's considered part of the Greater Heights area. So it's not in Heights proper.
See, you ruined, I was gonna even ask that. So I was gonna ask, is it part of Heights?
It's part of the Greater Heights, but it's not in Heights proper. So Shady Acres is actually west of Shepherd, Durham.
Shepherd, Durham kind of run this together. One run, Shepherd runs north, Durham runs south.
So east of Shepherd and Durham is the Heights, and depending on where you are, because you've got Sunset Heights, you've got different parts of the Heights. But Shady Acres is considered part of Greater Heights area. So
Okay.
for the purposes of this video, I would say it's part of the Greater Heights, but not Heights proper. And it has a very different look and feel.
Yeah, and that's what my point would be is they call it the Greater Heights, but there's really a distinct look, feel, architecture, vibe from the Heights when you go over into Shady Acres. Okay.
When you leave the Heights and go to Shady Acres.
Yeah, when you leave the Heights and go to Shady
So
Acres.
first of all, the streets, the layout's very different, and the streets are very long, like the blocks are very long.
Very long.
So if you think you're just gonna go a few houses and be able to make a turn, wrong. You're
No.
gonna be driving a little while to get to the end of each block.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, well, I was gonna talk about that later.
Running east to west.
Yeah, running east
North
west.
to south, they're not long, but east to west they are.
Well, also when you just look at the satellite image or a map, you can see once you go west of that Durham Shepherd corridor, the streets, you'll start to see all these little offshoots and all these crazy little things, and that's where they took these really big lots, bought them, scraped whatever old house was on it, and then built 2, 3, 4 of these. I'm gonna call it a townhome, but technically it's not a townhome. They are multi-level, 2, 3 story houses that are really close.
So there's kind of
together.
both, right? Like you've got these gated communities where they've subdivided a lot and either put in 6 townhomes or 3 single-family homes, just meaning single-family being freestanding and a townhome meaning that they're attached.
Right.
So you have a combination of both, but I think more predominantly single-family.
Right. You know, but what's cool about that, or what's nice about it, is all the people that we know that live in Shady Acres. As a matter of fact, we've got a listing coming up in Shady Acres, and they love the neighbors, they love the neighborhood, and that's one of the real draws. I was holding an open house for you there. It was during the COVID, and it was during sort of that fall football season, and I was walking out, and sure enough, the neighborhood right across the street, all of them were out. It was an Aggie football game, and so it was like this. They had the gate closed, but all the kids were running around, and they had all the tables out there, and people were throwing the bean bags and cornhole and drinking and eating, and they were like, "Oh, come on over and watch the game." And I was a little heartbroken. I was like, "Oh, I can't stay." But it's a really cool, friendly neighborhood vibe like that.
It's pretty young and hip too. They're, you know, probably a mixed demographic, but you've got a lot of local restaurants and bars sprinkled in throughout the neighborhood, which, you know, again, depending on where you are in Shady Acres, there are some sections that are very walkable.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you had mentioned it's got a young vibe, but also you and I were talking, we know a lot of empty nesters that move there.
That have left the suburbs and moved back into town, and they don't want the maintenance of a big yard.
Exactly, because it's a low, no maintenance lifestyle.
Outdoor space comes at a premium for sure in Shady Acres. So you're more likely to have either a rooftop deck or a balcony or a very small yard.
Right.
I mean, it's not impossible to have, like, you can have green space, but it's not going to be super big.
So speaking of, you know, you were talking about thoroughfares and the long blocks. Let's just lay out for everybody what Shady Acres is. So over on the far east side is going to be that corridor of Shepherd-Durham corridor. Along the north is going to be the 610. So even though there's big differences between Shady Acres and the Heights, one of the things that I like is that a lot of the cool things and a lot of the convenient stuff that we look for is actually over in Shady Acres. I mean, like, it has the Memorial Hermann Hospital complex there with the emergency room. It has the Home Depot, the Lowe's, heck, even the HEB that's in the Heights. It is in the Heights. It's right on the border there with Shady Acres, and it's just as much in Shady Acres. They even have a Chick-fil-A and a Whataburger. Our daughter is obsessed with Chick-fil-A, and our son's a little bit obsessed with Whataburger. But that Shepherd-Durham corridor, that's where the Heights Beer Garden is. That's where Snooze
Oh my gosh, they've
is.
opened up a burger joint, a taco stand,
Katz's Deli.
Kaz Sushi. Gosh, I was driving home last night and there were like 3 other new restaurants that popped up.
And then there's
all
also,
in the middle of COVID too, mind you. It's interesting.
And there's all the concept ones like Nico's Hot Chicken and the new fish place over there.
So there's not a shortage of places to go. And then there's also some places, I'm gonna jump ahead, sprinkled into the neighborhood, like Crisp Wine Bar, which has great Italian food, pizzas, things like that. Cedar Creek, which is part of the Onion Creek family, and they've got indoor, outdoor, so they have a fabulous outdoor dining space. And you know, weekends it's usually packed. People take their dogs and sit out on the.
Okay, so it is Sunday afternoon here in Shady Acres with my friends Alvin and Rhonda Thompson. Now, now guys, how long have y'all lived in Shady Acres?
Almost a year and a half.
Year and a half. Now, Rhonda, what do you like most about Shady Acres?
All the places to go, eat and have drinks.
Eat and have a good time.
Days like today.
Days like today.
Right.
Beautiful. It's hot, happening and happening. And so this is just a little taste of what life here in Shady Acres is like. So, check you later.
Come on in. This is a nice place.
Yeah, I thought this was a good footage of it.
And my
patio. There's a creek that runs through it, so.
mine and my friends' favorite places, because it's over there near the bayou, the Barking Pig.
Barking Pig
Love
is another
the
one,
Barking Pig.
which is across the street from Tony's, which is a very classic old school Mexican restaurant, which is right down the street from Cavatori, which was made, it's a cool old style Italian restaurant that was at a barn that they converted into a restaurant. You're right there by the King's Beer House too.
I was trying to remember that one because it spelled all the beer in the house. All old German, restaurant, beer place.
They've got, we're not mentioning all of them, so there's plenty of places to go. You're not going to have to leave Shady Acres to be fed.
And just have a great time. So it's not like, oh, I live in Shady Acres, all the cool places are over in the Heights. No, exact opposite. You have to let me put this one in. One of our favorite activities, bingo in the Heights. It's technically in Shady Acres.
It is.
It's over in the SBJST hall every Thursday night. I mean, they haven't been doing it with the COVID, but it's packed. I think I've got some film footage that we posted on Instagram or something that I'll put in just
And
to give you.
it's the
SPJST. It's
Lodge.
It's a lodge.
They have dances.
Oh gosh.
Like, I don't know about during COVID, but they would do like polka night. It's kind of old school, and actually, the land was bought, and they're going to be opening a big community club, like private club swimming pool.
Yeah.
In the next year or two. That's all in the works. So that's going to be another kind of exciting perk for the neighborhood. You have to be a member, of course, but
Yeah. So the point is Shady Acres, while it's not the Heights, you don't have to leave there. There's so much convenience, so many great things.
So
around.
if you like to get outdoors, if you've got dogs, a dog, and you like to get out and run or walk, you are right close to the bayou there. And
Right.
so great for that, to get out and just be outdoors. And
that trail, you can get on that White Oak Bayou Trail right there, and you can take it all the way into downtown. You can take it way on out for miles. But, so, you know, we're talking about it's not the Heights, we're talking about the White Oak Bayou. One of the really bad things about Shady Acres is,
well, there's flooding
Yeah.
because you're close to the bayou. But the builders that have gone in, because it's primarily newer construction in that area, and so the builders went in knowing, and not all sections of Shady Acres are in the flood zone,
not all of them.
but the
Mainly
ones
over to the,
you can tell when you're out looking at houses which ones are and which ones aren't, because the builders literally build them up so that they're out of the floodplain. So what that means is they'll build it to where the garage will flood. And so the garages are very high, very tall, and there's drainage built into that so that if, you know, the water can flow out easily should it flood. And some people put in car lifts if they have, you know, really nice cars and they're worried about losing their car. But the homes won't flood because they're built up. So you're not required to have flood insurance, which is, you know, makes it a lot more affordable. Although we, of course, encourage all of our clients in
Always
Houston
get
to
flood
carry flood
insurance.
insurance, but it will be affordable.
Right.
Because of the way that they've built that up. And then some sections just aren't even in
yeah.
the flood zone at all.
And just because it's in a flood zone doesn't mean that it floods. I mean, you remember
Right.
in Harvey, golly, that place over there, the in-town homes, it was like this island where everything was all high and dry, and
It just depends. So,
let me just pop this over. We have to check our notes here. We talked about bingo in the Heights. Okay, so I was gonna talk about this, the streets and how they're kind of weird. So there's not very many good corridors going north and south through the neighborhood. Either they butt up to the Home Depot, Lowe's complex on the north, or you just can't go north-south very easily. And east-west, the roads, not very many of them are wide, right? You have a lot of parking issues, a lot of cars. But 23rd Street, when you're running along 23rd Street, that's sort of like the main thoroughfare. 20th Street is where you have a lot of the restaurants, bars, and some commercial along 20th Street. And then your main thoroughfare is north and south, or the TC Gesture, Ella Boulevard, and then of course the Durham Shepherd. So
so the street thing kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, in that you can go north and south. It's just that the east-west blocks are a lot longer, and so there aren't as many of the north-south
Exactly.
blocks to travel. But you can. It's not. I mean, it's doable.
Yeah.
To navigate the neighborhood. It's just not. It doesn't have the same feeling as the Heights. And one of the big differences is that in the Heights you have curbs, gutters, sidewalks, and in Shady Acres you don't.
Yeah.
Some builders or developers went in and put sidewalks in, maybe a little section But for the most part, you have ditches for drainage, and so, which also probably is part of the whole.
Right. But at
flooding
the same
thing.
time, it's very walkable because people are just
People
used
walk
to,
on the street, and
Yeah.
some streets do have sidewalks, but for the most part, so that's I think part of the whole kind of the difference of the feeling of Shady Acres. But it's a great happening neighborhood. It's the main difference too between it and the Heights is that it's a lot more affordable.
Yeah, it's
Like
it's
a lot more affordable. You can get in under 500,000 easy.
You can get like the listing
In the 300s.
The listing that we've got coming up is going to be just under 500,000, but
It has a yard.
it's got a yard. It's got a beautiful view, so you can get a really, really, really good house in.
I think it's only 5 or 6 years old too.
Right.
It's not dated. Like it's really beautiful.
Over in Shady Acres, where that if you were to put that same one over here in the Heights, first of all, you wouldn't be able to get it because we don't have them. But it would be, you wouldn't be able to get it for that kind of money over here in the Heights.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Hey, look, if you have stuck around this long and you've put up with all of this, we know you like this video. So go ahead and give us that thumbs up. Tell us you liked it. Hey, if there's stuff in the area that you want to hear about, put it in a comment section.
let us
We'd love
know.
to hear it. And look, whenever you or your family member is ready to move here to Houston, don't hesitate. Just give us a call. Send us a text message. Send us an email. Heck, if you want to, send us a note via
Pony Express.
any which way you want to reach us. We've got your back when we're moving here to Houston. We'll see you later.